The jokes that you tell, they have to make sense.
That's the laughter boost button that he's got his thumb on there.
I think this character of the Doctor is just incredibly unbelievable. I've got pages and pages here. Today we've got Stewart Lee.
Stewart Lee.
We're going to be looking at a joke, a Doctor joke from his recent special, Basic Lee.
That's good, Basic Lee.
Basic Lee.
Straight away, yeah.
Yes. So what's that? Is that a pun that he's decided to go for there? Is he mostly a kind of a puns comedian, do you think? A wordplay comedian?
I imagine so. I don't know him particularly well, but that's a good start. Basically, that's very good.
Shall we get started with the clip itself? Let's go. Stewart Lee.
Doctor, I think I'm depressed. He said, whenever I'm depressed, he said, I cheer myself up by going to see the funniest comedian that there is. Stewart Lee. And I said, I am Stewart Lee. He said, I didn't recognise you, put on a lot of weight. Good joke that, I think. And then...
Nice to see somebody doing the old-fashioned Doctor joke.
You like that? You're a fan of those?
I am a fan of those, and I think it's nice to see somebody not afraid to go old school.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need all this sort of, anti-comedy and satire and all this stuff that the youngsters are coming out with. Just a nice old-fashioned Doctor joke.
I've got a few issues with this one. A lot of that doesn't make any sense, does it? Let me ask you a question. What's the first thing that happens when you go to the doctors? What's the first thing you do when you go to the doctors?
I sort of check in. They've got a sort of touch screen. Yeah,
exactly right.
I put in my date of birth, I think, and then it immediately knows who I am. It's very clever.
It is clever, isn't it?
It's AI, I think.
What happens? You put in your date of birth, and it comes up and it says your name, doesn't it?
It says welcome.
Welcome, Walter Jack. So when Stewart goes to the doctor, he's going to do exactly the same thing. He's going to put his date of birth in, and it's going to say, welcome, Stewart Lee. And then he's going to sit down. Then the doctor's going to come out, and the doctor's going to say, Stewart Lee? And he's going to say, yes, that's me. Then he'll go into the room. So this conceit that the doctor doesn't know who he is, it's a plot hole, isn't it?
It's paper thin, isn't it?
It doesn't make any sense. And the audience are going to pick up on that. The jokes that you tell, they have to make sense. The doctor also, he wouldn't say, you've put on a lot of weight, would he?
No.
He wouldn't use that blunt language. So there's a loss of realism there for me. It's going to take the audience out. The doctor's going to talk in terms of body mass index, isn't he?
BMI.
Yeah.
Or BMJ, is it?
No, BMI. I think you had it right the first time. That's the one. Also, this is the start of a conversation here. Stewart Lee is saying that this is the first thing he said to the doctor is he's giving a picture of the start of a conversation. The doctor hasn't even weighed him yet. So he's not going to know how much weight he's put on.
No, especially not if he's wearing that jacket, because that hides a multitude, doesn't it? You can see him holding the microphone stand in the right hand as we're looking at it anyway.
Well, that's his left hand.
Well, I mean, it's argument, isn't it? It depends on which direction you're looking at him from, which hand it is. So looking from our point of view, as the viewers will, I think it's just simplest if we say the right hand, Charlie. Okay.
No, but it's his left hand though, isn't it?
Obviously it's his hand. we're not disputing that. But looking at the screen, it's on the right. I mean, it's all about the point of view in the end, isn't it?
Yes, but you wouldn't say it's his right hand because it's not his right hand.
I didn't say it was his right hand. I said it's the right hand looking from where we're looking from, but neither of us are arguing about whether it's his hand or not. Yeah, but
in that sentence you said it is the right hand. What you would say is it's this hand on the right.
I don't think anyone's going to be interested in this, Charlie. So in this hand, let's just call it this hand then, he's holding the microphone stand and you can see his fingers quite clearly. Finger on a button there, and then that's the laughter boost button that he's got his thumb on there, and so you'll see him pressing that at least twice during this joke because he's thinking, I should be getting a bigger laugh than that.
Yeah.
and off he goes.
So that's going to play through the speakers. The audience are then going to hear that and they're going to think, oh, okay, all right, this is where the laugh is supposed to be. I think Stewart Lee he's missed an opportunity here to talk about the NHS and the issue of mental health services waiting lists. That's obviously a hot button issue at the moment. And I think he's approaching that subject, but he's not going over.
He's stopping at the fence, isn't he? To use a pole vaulting term. So you're thinking he could kind of pivot his way from being a doctor joke kind of a comedian, the long coat doctor joke comedian niche that he occupies currently, into being something more of a satirist.
Yeah, something more political, more satirical. And I think that might not be his wheelhouse at the moment, but he can get out of that comfort zone into a new area, branch out, and I think that's really what he should be doing at his age and at his level. I've got another plot hole here. In this joke, the doctor has noticed that he's put on weight. That's the whole point of the joke, isn't it? If Stewart Lee says that he's depressed and the doctor's noticed that he's put on weight, the first thing he's going to suggest is exercise, isn't he? Because exercise has physical and mental health benefits, and the doctor's going to know that. So the doctor's not going to suggest stand-up comedy. He's going to say...
mention endorphins, because that's a funny word.
Exactly. It sounds like dolphins, doesn't it? Endorphins, there'd be something that he can do with that. Also, the doctor... I've got pages and pages here. The doctor doesn't press him about the depression. He doesn't have any questions, does he? He's going to be asking kind of hard-hitting questions about what Stewart Lee's life is like. Have you had any lifestyle changes recently? Are you experiencing suicidal ideation? Those kinds of things.
Yes.
But he doesn't go into any of that. And so I think this character of the Doctor is just incredibly unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. They don't fat shame doctors, do they? Certainly not on the first appointment, anyway.
No. And the audience are going to be thinking, this didn't really happen, did it?
No.
No.
It's a credibility gap. That's really what you're pointing to there, isn't it?
That's the word I was looking at. Yeah,
it's two words. Couple of things. He laughs at his own joke, and we've often said on the Joke Clinic that that's a really good idea because it's a cue.
Yeah.
For the audience, and of course Stewart Lee, as we've said, a lot of people love him, and they're gonna, if they're his audience, they'll hear him laughing at it, will think, well, that must be a good joke. Second, he actually says that was a funny joke.
Yes.
Now, often on stage, I'll do one of my bangers. Gets nothing from the audience. Sometimes it's just the audience are they're not a comedy audience.
Yep.
They're not paying attention. They're a little bit thick sometimes. There are those sorts of problems. So I'll have to do that. I'll have to say, that was a funny joke.
Yep.
And then they'll laugh nervously, but it's a laugh. It's a laugh nonetheless.
It's all laughter. I think that's a good thing when you do it, I would say. I'm not as convinced it's a good thing when he's done it. To me, it's a bit Orwellian, isn't it? He's sort of insisting on this... Orwell. Like a Geordie. Orwell. Yes, George Orwell. He was...
Orwell George.
He was a Geordie, I think.
Oh, I see. Orwell, that'll be funny.
Well, that's a good joke.
Well, that's a good joke, George.
Yeah. I think he's sort of insisting on the lie, isn't he?
Insisting on the lie.
Yeah. He's insisting on this lie that it's a good joke, and I think that's gonna put the audience on edge a little bit.
Put the audience on edge, man.
He's gonna put the audience on edge, man. Up the tune. How are the lads?
Do you want to hear my Geordie joke?
Yes. Yeah.
Do Geordies ever go to Scandinavia?
Probably. Quite close.
Norway.
Right.
Norway, man.
Yeah, that is good.
Good, isn't it?
You write that. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I didn't write it. I just made it up in my head.
Yeah, but yes, okay.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you get it? It's like a sort of wordplay between Norway and Norway.
Wordplay with the accent.
With the accent, yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's a country, Norway, in Scandinavia.
Norway.
Did you get all that?
Yes, I got all that.
Okay.
Because I suppose they'd say no way and Norway in the same way.
Yeah.
Norway.
Which could be confusing,
yeah.
I suppose, if they were like at an airport. They said, "Do you want to go on this trip?" And they'd go, "No way." And then they'd be on the airplane and they'd be fucked.
All right, well, that was Stewart Lee. His Doctor joke from Basically. If you've got anything else that you would like us to take a look at, to critique, that could be a comedian who you like, or it could be one of your jokes, then let us know in the comments down below, and we will do our best.
Get in touch via the internet, or send us a letter, either way.
Just comment on the video, I would.
Or in a letter.
What did you think of did you find it funny?
His hair is funny.
His hair is probably the funniest thing about this for me.
And that's enough for me, actually.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it.